Hey there, and welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave, and tonight I'm going to do a chicken penne arrabbiata. Now the arrabbiata sauce, it's a tomato-based sauce where we add some chili flakes to it, so we crank up the heat a little bit, get it kind of spicy. You know, it's not off the charts, but it definitely registers some heat, and I love that heat. We're going to add some chicken to really kind of pump up the meatiness, the substantialness of the dish and make it absolutely wonderful. And all that's super easy to do, especially if you do the sauce ahead of time. Freezes really well, pop it out, you can be eaten in about 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and get started on our sauce Arrabiata. This is the kind of the spicy tomato sauce that is absolutely wonderful. It's got a little bit of heat to it that we're going to get from some red chilies. But we're going to start off like I do most tomato sauces, or spaghetti sauces anyway, with a little bit of onion and garlic and a nice few tablespoons of olive oil, good extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to season with salt and just kind of toss in the pan and let these wilt down for a few minutes, let the onions get nice and soft. Okay, so after my onions and garlic have softened up, it's time to add our chili flakes. Now, I'm going to add, that's probably just under a tablespoon. I find, you can go overboard. You got to kind of go with your own taste here. If you really like the spicy, fiery sauce, go ahead and add a little bit more. I find, at least what I put in, maybe a little bit less is kind of the minimum that you need to get some of that heat out. In fact, let's add just a touch more. And I'm just going to let these go and kind of soften up, take some of that heat and activate the oils for about a minute and a half, and then we're going to go ahead and add a large can. What do we got here? I don't even know how many this is. Or I don't know. We'll call it a pound. It's more than a pound. 28 ounces of fresh tomatoes. And we're just going to let these bring it up to a simmer, cook it off for a good 45 minutes. Okay, so I just added my can of diced tomatoes. I just want to stir and get everything kind of incorporated and mixed together. You don't want, the onions are kind of all bunched up to the side. You want to get them evenly distributed. And then I'm going to put a lid on this and just let it simmer away. Let the tomatoes cook and break down for 45 minutes. You can go, frankly, you can go 5 hours on it if you really wanted to, but 45 is kind of the minimum. Okay, so after about 45 minutes or so, most of the tomatoes are soft. We're going to add a couple more ingredients. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of vinegar, just a couple tablespoons. Red wine vinegar. I happen to use a little sherry vinegar there. I'm going to throw in a good kind of 3/4 handful of fresh chopped basil. And then give your sauce a taste. If it's a little bit kind of tart or sour or too acidic, you can just add a little bit of sugar. Mine happens to be. And then you just want to kind of stir that in. You can you can certainly serve it now, or if you want to cook it, actually I would let that vinegar cook down for at least 10 minutes or so. Then you can serve it, or if you want to make it smoother, you can cook it longer, or if you're using kind of diced tomatoes like this, you can literally just take a potato masher, mash it up a little bit, and make a smoother sauce. I'm going to let this go for about 45 more minutes. Let those flavors blend. The longer you go, the better it's going to be. Okay, so my sauce, I simmered for about an hour and a half. Maybe we're approaching 2 hours. It's nice and smooth. It's the consistency I want it. Like I said, you can always just kind of mash it up a little bit. It's good if you want a smoother consistency. So we've got our arrabbiata sauce all cooked off here. In fact, I cooked mine a couple hours ago and just have it nice and cool or sitting in a bowl. It's a great sauce. All these sauces, you can make them ahead of time. Now it's time to make our chicken penne arrabbiata. And for that, I'm doing 2 people, so I've got 1 chicken breast. I think that's generally enough with some pasta on the side. Well, not on the side, with pasta mixed in. Seasoned well with salt and pepper on both sides. Nice hot skillet, some olive oil. I'm going to sear one side for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then I'm going to flip it over, do the other side. We'll pull it out. We're going to finish everything in here. Now is also the time to start the pasta in the boiling water. Okay, so my chicken is now fully cooked through, nicely seared. I'm going to remove it, throw it on a cutting board, let it rest for a couple minutes. Then we're going to dice it up into little bite-sized pieces. In the same pan, might as well use the same pan. I'm going to add my sauce, and that's going to get nice and hot. I'm going to turn my heat all the way down. So my pasta still has a couple minutes to cook. And really, I just need the sauce to you know, be nice and warm and ready for the pasta when the pasta is ready for it. So I'm just gonna let this heat up. Like I said, heat all the way down while we cut up the chicken, finish the pasta. Okay, so we got our sauce now heated up. Our pasta is done. I just turned the heat up so I got it nice and hot, kind of on the boil. I'm gonna add in my pasta. I made a little bit extra, and I just want to toss everything together. And you know, my pasta or my sauce looks just a little bit dry, so I reserved a little pasta water. And I'm just going to toss everything together and cook it for you know, probably 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and just let the penne absorb some of that delicious sauce. Okay, it's about 2 minutes later. Sauce, pasta have commingled and are looking absolutely delicious. I diced my chicken off camera. I'm just going to add that in and kind of toss it all together. It's obviously cooked. It just needs to be warmed up, and frankly, the carryover temperature from everything here will absolutely do that. We haven't seasoned yet, so I need to add a little bit of salt, add a little bit of pepper, give it one more toss, give it a little taste, and that is looking pretty good. So I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add a little bit of drizzle of olive oil. Get these nicely mixed in, and we are ready to serve. Okay, let's go ahead and serve up our penne, chicken penne arrabbiata, in a nice little pasta bowl here. You want to get it nice and highly stacked up, and then you know, garnish it with a little bit more cheese and a little